Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, testing, testing. Hello and welcome everybody. Omega Given here, going live. Yes? Are we live? Testing, okay, yes, we are live. Hello everybody. Okay, so today I want to talk a bit about AI because I've been in a frenzy lately of trying to learn about AI wrappers, how I can use AI locally, because I have a slight doom mindset where I'm like, I think eventually like a lot of these companies are going to privatize AI so that like you don't have access to them, because they don't have right now, at least in the current flow of things, they don't seem like they have a way to really monetize it and make it profitable. So I'm like, I want to be able to run AI locally using some AI algorithms. So let's kind of dive through the journey that I've had so far with AI algorithms, and not algorithms, but like AI stuff that I've learned. This is very amateur, so this is gonna be like a benchmark kind of video. Also, I need to change the titling of this. Amateur learns AI. Yeah, let's call this amateur learns AI. amateur programmer. Let's call that amateur programmer learns AI. How does that work? Amateur programmer learns AI. That's what we're going to title this. Okay, so basically, let's talk about my understanding. So I was at first thinking, oh, I want to build my own AI. What does it take to build your own AI? So basically, to build your own AI, you need to be able to, one, have tons of freaking data. I don't have tons of freaking data. So I can't build my own AI just because of that. Two, you need to have lots and lots of GPUs to be able to process all of that data, parse it all, get it all chunked together and working, and then put that into like a model. Now that part is kind of, I'm lost on that a bit. At least this is a large language model I'm talking about. So that's a little bit lost on me. I don't quite understand how that works per se. But I do know that once they have a model built, there's different companies that will push that model out. So with that model being pushed out, I can then download that model and use it using a service. I haven't built a service of my own yet, but using a service that can run that model. So it's kind of like a server, if you would call it, like a server kind of runner thing. So I dove through and I found Ollama. So I installed Ollama. That's the llama. Ollama. Yeah, Ollama. So that's an app I installed or whatever, or something like that. Here, I can maybe pull it up. This is their website. It's basically get running with large language learning models. Yeah, so it's a thing that can run these models. So I downloaded this, being like, I want to figure out how to run these models. So you can straight up download this right now for free, and then download a model. They have instructions. You can pick a model and download it. DeepSeek is a big one apparently. I have learned a lot. I actually downloaded Quinn instead, but DeepSeek is one I'm thinking about downloading soon. And you can have like different versions of this model, and basically it's how much that model is trained on, I believe, or how do you call it? It's like billions of something or whatever. I don't know exactly how that works. I need to do research on that and fill you guys in on that. But basically it's built on a certain amount of data. At least that's my very high level of understanding. So you have different sizes of them. 5 gigs, 1 gigs, 4 gigs, and all the above, basically going up. And I'm like, okay, so you could get a low amount of gig and be like, oh, it just works. Or I was thinking, the higher the gig, the better, right? The bigger, the better. So I just went ahead and I didn't do DeepSeek. I went for a Quinn. I downloaded this one. I downloaded the Quinn. It's like a 49 gig model, like AI model. So I downloaded that because I'm like, bigger the better, right? But comes to find out, those models are built such that the bigger the model, the more power it takes to use that model on your, what do you call it? On your prompting, your prompts in and your exports out, basically. So if I wanted to run this model, I can run this model, but it will be very slow, and that would not be good. So with that understanding that I've learned that like a bigger model needs bigger resources, that means I need to learn to use smaller models. Smaller models might not be as more accurate, or might not be trained on better data or smaller data, or I don't know, not as much data in it, but it will run faster. So I've kind of learned this little thing here. This is me just speaking very high level how it works, because I'm still, diving into it. So with that in mind, I have 2 models downloaded. I want to demonstrate this. I have 2 models downloaded. I built this, it's a Python parser. So here, maybe I should dive into my setup. Let's go into my setup. Right now, I have VS Code. On VS Code, I have a couple extensions that I've used. I use Continue, basically because since I have Ollama on my computer, and with those 2 models, I can use Continue to basically be a little prompter, so I don't actually have to go to Bing and stuff like that. So you'll see right here in the bottom left, I have a whole bunch of queries and stuff that I threw in to be able to get code and stuff like that, trying to understand how things work in my code and all the above. I gotta say, it's kind of genius. I feel like I barely had to code any of this, but I did masterfully put it together because I understand how coding works, so I knew how to put it together. So I got VS Code. I have that little helper there, which is actually using an Ollama instance on my computer. If I put my bottom right, you'll see there's like a little icon. Oh, I guess you won't see it. In the bottom right, you'll see there's an icon. Ollama's running in the background on my computer, and it just basically, it kind of acts as a server. There's like a local thing that you can, like, it pings on my local machine, like this local host right here. Or actually, no, this is a different local host. There's another local host that you're pinging to get this to work. Do I have it here? Where is it? This is where you can ping. Is this host 11434? At least on my system, it's that. So I ping this host with like stuff, and that's the host is like the what's actually running these models. But this continues doing the same thing. But I want to do that myself. I don't want to use somebody else's extension. So I programmed this thing out. Basically, I'm using a couple libraries that are kind of cool. So I use the Ollama API to be able to make these API calls. I use Streamlight, which is what you're seeing right here on the right. It's basically a UI, it's a front-end UI Python thing. I don't know, I just discovered it today. I just started using it. It's kind of interesting. It's actually very simple to make like a quick UI and stuff like that. And then just a couple other things. I have PyPDF because I wanted to upload a PDF and then parse through those PDFs, which works. I'm not going to show it here because I don't have any PDFs that are example that don't have private information on them. I was kind of seeing if it could tell about private information, which it could. But, so, what I have going on here, let's kind of break it down. Let's go in the back end first. One, I have an API parser. So, when you have Ollama on your computer with a model, or Ollama itself, it will start up a server. That's why we have this local host that you can make queries to. It's an API. APIs are query making things. I'm just being very high level. So, I basically have to I want to get the available models because you can actually send a query base to Ollama, and it will kind of take that query and be like, what model do you want to run it against? Because you have a couple models downloaded, and it'll like throw it against that model and give you a response back. So I have like a thing to be like, hey, what are the different models I have? And I made a little widget right here that basically tells me I have Llama 3.2 latest, which is like a very small one. And then I have a Quinn, the 2.532. This is like the 40 gig version of Quinn. So I have those kind of things. So that's kind of like a cool little thing I got there. So I got 2 models. That's what this function basically does. So if you look at it, it's basically, hey, get this response of this tags, which is right here. And then, so if there is a response, which means Ollama's up, try this, which is basically get the response of that, what I just sent to that tag. And then find what are all the models. So basically extracting all those model names. Yeah, exactly. And then if there's exception, whatever else, yeah, it just returns those models. Okay, so I have those models, and I plug them in here so I can be able to see them. Then I have this AI stream thing. So basically what this AI stream is basically, it will take a prompt. So I have like this little widget here, which will send a prompt that calls this function. So it has this prompt. You can put a context in here. The context is, I can actually upload a file. I can upload a file right there, and it'll give me the context of that file. Like, hey, it'll parse that file. Or right now I only have it parse the PDFs, even though I have text, MD, whatever stuff. But it can parse those files. I have the model name. I have it defaulted to that, but it'll take whatever's in this slot right here, and then it will start the prompt. So how do you do this? When you look at it, we have the full prompt. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, we have the full prompt. So we have the payload. Yeah, sorry, I have to parse this through. I was doing this earlier. So you have the model, the prompt, and I'm doing stream to true. What stream is basically when you are requesting to these, to the model itself on Ollama, you could let it sit there and create the entire like response, or you can actually let it stream one token at a time. So that's why I want to do the stream of the one token at a time, because that'll make it so you can do like the little typing feature, and the typing feature makes it so you can basically get the information you want in real time without having to wait for it to do the entire response. So it's kind of like that little, just a little like helper for like the front end, just like use of it and everything. So we want stream to be true. We do a request.post, and we have Ollama. Actually, should I like increase the size of this? Oh, whoops. Yeah, so can I just like minimize that? So we got basically, we set the stream. All right, so we do a request. We post to that URL with the payload of basically our model, what model we want to run against, what's the prompt. The prompt is whether it be our prompt plus the context, which is basically any files that we want to include. So you can see how like really their prompt is actually telling the AI, hey, reference this document with this question. That's basically what it's saying. And you could probably edit this, and this is where like I guess prompt engineers do their work. It's literally just editing that one line of code or maybe a couple lines of code to make it so the AI can feed it better and understand what's going on better. I'm guessing that's kind of what goes on with this thing. But yes, I basically fed in the prompt. It does a post up to my Ollama, local Ollama thingamajig. I said this because this is where I was kind of understanding, like, why does certain models run faster than other models? And I wanted to measure that. So I basically added a little timer and a token thing. So basically when I get response, I'm going to iterate through that response by lines, because the responses are coming back like, you know, one at a time. And then we're basically going to count how many tokens there are. And then we're going to do the time it takes for those tokens. So, you know, it's just a basic time tracker. You know, if you decoded Python before, you've done time trackers most likely. But we just do this time tracker right here. And then, of course, we yield the response so we can have it seen up here. Now, time for the moment you guys have all been waiting for. What does all this mean? Let's say, how do I make ramen? Let's just type that in over here. I press enter. It's going to send that response up, and then we're going to get a response back. And it says, a classic college student favorite. And it gives me this whole response here. Yeah, classic college student favorite, making ramen is relatively easy. And it gives me the whole thing based on this model, this Llama 3.2 latest model. And this is where I got into like understanding, like, okay, that outputted really fast. Like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, right? We can use that model and do that really good. And we can see right here, tokens processed. We can see that we're processing 107 tokens a second. That's pretty fast. But, big but, this is a not too well trained AI model. What if I want to run on like a very highly trained AI model? So I'm going to switch it on up to the Quinn whatever model and be like, how do I make ramen? Same exact question. We're going to input that in there. And let's wait and see. It's going to take a while. Look how slow that is. 3 tokens per second. Very slow. But we can tell that it's different because it's kind of running a little bit differently. Because right here is kind of giving like a little introduction. It's a great thing for whatever. But this one's like making ramen at home is a fun customized experience. So you can see the difference in the AIs, like as it's doing like a different AI response kind of thing. So it's kind of interesting just like to compare this and be like, oh, this one says ramen noodles, put 2 cups of water. This one is like, oh, 1 cup of water, 8 ounces of fresh. Like this is a lot more exact. Like this has a lot more exactness to it. When this one's just like, throw it in. Like this is generic. So this is like the difference. I imagine this is the difference. This is my amateur understanding of it. This is the difference between small models, like AI models, versus large AI models. Large AI models have more information. They can give you more exact information. Like 1 cup of water is 240 ounces or milliliters, 8 ounces or whatever of ramen or whatever. So it kind of gives you a lot more specifics, when this one barely knows 2 cups of water and that's it. It doesn't know anything else. Or maybe it does. We could probably ask it that. But I don't know. This is just kind of interesting how it can do this. I don't think this AI model can understand the history of my chats. So I think that's something that I might need to implement myself as a webhook kind of thing. So we're not quite there yet. Actually, let me check that. What was the last question I asked? Let's ask this question to The fast one. Yeah, what was the last question I asked? I'm kind of curious if this is going to be able to tell what the last question I asked is. This conversation has just started. You haven't asked any questions. What would you like to talk about? Okay, wait, let me ask it again. How do you make ramen? Blah, blah, blah. What was the last question I asked? You didn't ask a previous question. Yes. So there we have that. There we have like a really interesting thing. So I don't know. I actually haven't thought about this until just now. Basically, what's happening here, as far as my amateur understanding, is when we are using a local AI. So this is just like I'm building the AI from the ground up. We have a model. We're just sending queries to this model and it's coming back. It does not remember any history. Every query is completely independent of itself. And I think that might also be the weakness of using local AIs with like, say, oh crap, where did it go? With like, say like this right here, I use continue as this local AI, which is just using Ollama, but it might not remember my history too well. Or it is passing in this history, like literally every single prompt. That could be what it's doing. So that's actually where, I'm guessing when, like, say if you're using Bing AI, like the Bing AI Copilot chat or whatever, it probably is remembering all of your history and sending that history as like a little subsection into their AI model in the back end on their server side. That's interesting. So that's something I'm gonna have to figure out how to implement, because I have not implemented that with my local AI that I'm building right now. Well, it's not my AI, it's my parser. I feel like I think a better phrase for a lot of this is parsing. The only people that own their own AI are the big companies or like big research people. There's really not much of the other stuff. All the other stuff is you're writing wrappers or parsers or something like that, or whatever you call them. Probably a wrapper. But yeah, so if you want to go over the rest of my code, like this is I don't know, I like this this interface I used. This is from Streamlight. Basically, you're setting up these UI components just by making titles and sessions and whatnot. I to be honest, I use the AI to tell me how to make a lot of this UI stuff with this library. Mainly because I'm a Python programmer at heart. I know Python like the back of my hand, or at least pretty well at least. So it just makes sense for me to try to find some UIs in Python. But I don't know. I'm kind of proud of myself. I got a AI wrapper, so I can pass in stuff. So now I need to remember my previous conversations. I wonder if I should do a check mark on here. Let me like move to like, I don't know, the top right corner of the screen, shall we? So you guys can see this. Maybe I should add like a little button down here. Oh, also this is kind of annoying. I've been wanting to try to figure out, this is something with the UI itself. I haven't figured out at all how to throw this into like below my actual typing box. I can't figure it out. It's just so freaking annoying. Like I've been looking at my UI components and how they're structured. I guess it's right here. So I can just rearrange these right here and it'll rearrange where my UI components are. But for some reason, even though my user input is there and these are there, it's not putting it below it. I don't know why, but it does. I wonder if it's because it's kind of bundling the entire web page that's being created into like a something or whatever. Interesting. I don't know. I'm learning so much through this AI stuff. It's kind of funny because like when I was like learning these tokens per second, so and like how fast a certain AI model is, I started to understand the need for graphics cards. So I'm running this AI on my computer, my system. My system it has a 3070 graphics card in it, and it has what's my processor? My system processor is, I don't think there's any private information in here, is there? Not much. Basically AMD Ryzen 9. It's a 12-core processor, so like it runs pretty fast, or like the smaller algorithms runs like instantaneously on my thing, and I have like 64 gigs RAM, so it's like it's pretty good. But it kind of made me think that's like if I want to run these bigger models, I actually want to get a better graphics card. But the thing is, I don't want to go and spend like, you know, insane amounts of money on like a 5090. Like that's like how much does a 5090 cost? Like tell me. I would have to sleep, but I would have to sleep. All right, yeah. Thanks for stopping by here, Yasin. But yeah, just like kind of crazy how like. Actually, let me go to microcenter.com. I wanna check out Micro Center right now. Let me. All right, we're gonna open up Micro Center. I want to see what their graphics cards are at. Gosh darn it. All right. I want to see what 5090s. What are they going for right now? Yeah, thanks for stopping on by. Watch these videos. A 5090 costs $3,350. Oh my gosh, that's so expensive. I use Ollama to run DeepSeek Coder on my 3050 with Intel i5. Wait, you use DeepSeek? Which version of DeepSeek? Because I've been struggling to see, because I would like to run like these bigger algorithms, but like in order to do that, you need a bigger graphics card to get like speed at least. Because I could sit here at 2 tokens per second I was using Quinn if you missed that part. But it's literally 2 tokens per second. So if you wanted to see it like how it pops out, how to make ramen, it will go so slow. Like you're just gonna see it just crawl across the screen. I do hear you. Wait, am I? Yeah, just yeah. So like, see, it's there's 3 tokens per second, and just like so slow at response time. But I don't know. I guess, you know, I don't need a big encoder or not encoder or a big algorithm, whatever you call it. So maybe that's something where I just gotta go with whatever I already have, rather than trying to buy something bigger. If I you know, get the capital, I might get myself a 5080 at least, because that one's, you know, $1,300 rather than $3,000. So it's like, why? I could literally buy 2 5080s for the price of one 5090. The difference is the 5090 has 32 gigs of RAM. I don't know. Can you make a video about how to get small coding models with high tokens window? Could you make a video about how to get small coding models with high tokens? Like, are you like, you want to make like a wrapper like this that I have on the right? Cause I'm gonna probably push this code up to my GitHub and people can be able to access it that way. Actually, I might do that right now, to be honest. Let me see. Let me just double check. Is there any privatized information in here? I don't think so. All this is local stuff. Doomed code. I was trying to do something where it like parsed through my computer. I took out the links so you don't see what the links on my computer, like whatever. But yeah, this is something that I'm kind of looking through. Here, let me push this up to GitHub and you guys can check out my GitHub, I guess. Let me... Does VS Code allow me to do anything? Reveal in File Explorer. Okay, reveal on my other side screen. I probably should be doing a lot of these things in a VM, I imagine. Yeah, probably VMs are probably a lot safer to be able to do stuff in. Open in terminal. Okay, git status. Let's put this up to a git init. Are you running the model locally? Yes, I am running this model locally. So I'm using Ollama to run it locally. How many parameters it is? What do you mean by parameters? I'm a very beginner. Like, just like the title, I'm an amateur programmer. So when you say parameters, are you mean like the context? Like when you send a query in as like a JSON to the, so I'm using Ollama, so sending it to my Ollama local AI. Because really, I don't know. That's the only thing I understand about parameters. I have to go now. Can you create another live tomorrow? I might create another live. We'll see. I'm in the process of trying to find certain jobs or whatever. So like I haven't live streamed in forever, but I kind of want to do more of these technical live streams as I try to find more ideas of how to code and stuff like that. Let me pull up. I need to pull up my GitHub. I want to push this up to GitHub so you guys can literally just pull this down. My little project I made. I'll post it in the chat a second. I guess you guys will get to see my real name. Huh. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna create a new repository. We're gonna call this Ollama local chatbot. Let's go, because all this really is just a chatbot that I created. Well, technically everything I do right now you could just send through a through the like a console and everything. I just wanted to make a chatbot that makes it so it's a lot easier to see. Now parameters is the size it is trained on. The more it is, the more intelligence or data trained on. Oh, so like the billion thingamajig. Okay, yeah, I understand that a little bit. Like there is mentioned when you download the model for Ollama, like 4 billion, 6 billion. Yeah, so the 2 models I have running. So I have 2 models downloaded. I have Ollama 3.2, which I'm guessing it's small. It's a 5 gigabyte one. I don't know how many billion that is. But yeah, I have a Quinn 2.5, and that's a 32 billion. So I think that one's a 40 gig model. So me with my 3070, I'll just let you see how to make ramen. So this is basically how, like, just pay attention down the bottom right. That's how fast it runs. Very slow. It's 3 tokens per second on a 3070. Super duper slow. Actually, let me pull up my task manager so you can actually also see how that looks on task manager specifically. Whoops. I have like so many windows up. Like, look how many windows I have up, guys. I'm just like going insane here on how many windows I got up. Task manager. Okay. So you do have to understand the performance on my computer right now too. So there's my GPU. So it seems like this 32-bit is using 45% of my GPU, about, or something like that. Try using this model along with CPP plus Q4. Interesting. I'll have to try that out maybe. Here, let me finish making this repository really quick. We'll make it public. I want to just call this a wrapper because it's not a. That's something I realized I understood that nobody actually makes their own AI. They all make wrappers. I think that's the right term. You can correct me on it. I think it's the right term though, where you just do whatever for a wrapper. Get remote add. Okay, so I got my whatever thing. Push existing code. I'm just gonna copy that. Boom. Paste away. Wait, failed to push references. Wait, what? Get status. I gotta add everything. All right, get add. Let me add all my. Let's add the ones that matter. Come on. Yes, I know I'm using Windows and stuff. Get status. Git commit -m initial stuff. So meaningful comments, right? Git push. We're gonna push this on up. Oh wait, what? Sure. All right, there we go. I'll post the link in the description here, or in the comments here really quick. So the README is not official, just letting you guys know. So there's the GitHub if you guys wanted to download this, like what I'm using myself. What do we got here? What's wrong in using? I prefer 1.5 billion DeepSeek coder, so I could run it on CPU mode. CPU mode, if you have good RAM, will be better. Ask ChatGPT whether to run on GPU or RAM and tell him your system specs. I'll have to ask that and see what's up. What's wrong in using API? I get more context, so I like it. So I could do 3000K context window custom model. I get only like say 32 or 60 context and it's slow. I see. I need to understand. I need to make some notes. What's the kind of stuff I gotta like research here? Because you're saying a bunch of stuff that I very vaguely understand. So I'm gonna just make notes of things to understand. Things to understand. I need to understand like what are the measurements of context? Measurements of context. Because that's basically just like the context or like the stuff that you feed to the AI to understand what kind of response you should spit back out. I want to understand what are the measurements that I guess the AI developers use to like measure how big of context these are. whether it be like your chat history or just the prompt itself or the files you include. I don't know what the measurement of that is. Is it literally just characters? It might just be characters, like text characters. So I need to understand that more. I need to understand the what makes the actual size of the AI model, like AKA the big B. Like, what does that B stand for? I know it's billion of something. I don't know what the something is though, so I gotta understand that. Oh yeah, see ya, yes, and thanks for stopping on by. I guess it's a lot faster if you are building products on top of it. Use git bash, please. Oh, wait, git bash? Why do you use git bash? I just use git on whatever on whatever shell I use, like just git status and stuff like that. Like, come on. Command line is the way to go, guys. Command line's the way to go. I don't know. I've been using git for like 6 years, so I'm still not amateur though. I'm definitely amateur. Okay, so I need to understand those things. I think those things are gonna make me more educated as a AI developer. I'm not an AI. I'm an AI rapper. I rap all around these AIs. I don't know. Gotta do some cringy stuff here. All right, so I just love this. I have instructions for how to make ramen right here. Oh, this time it says 4 cups of water. Wait. Or that one's. Oh, I should probably put which AI was used to make this response. Let me do a to-do. To-do. Put in my AI, or put in the Streamlight what kind of AI was used for what response. Yeah, I want to do that. Git bash is a terminal shell, and it's a lot better than Windows PowerShell and supports commands like touch and ls. Okay. I'm gonna big correction for you. You ignorant amateur. You want to know what ls is? Or whoops. ls. Look at that. Windows uses ls. I don't know if it uses touch. No, it's not used like that. But no, Windows actually has most of the same commands that Linux has. So all your Linux stuff, I have a big mat of Linux stuff. It is actually on Windows itself, and I'm not opposed to either. Or I actually have Linux downloaded on my machine as well as like a dual boot. Just today I'm on Windows because I was gaming earlier and I don't feel like switching back over to the Linux. I try to like I try to open up on Linux whenever I'm actually trying to do stuff so I'm not distracted by video games. But yeah. It downs together when you have installed Git on your machine. Try touch amateur. Like, what's so bad about it? Just freaking people that, I don't know, you guys just have your preferences. I literally just use whatever shell that's available. Like, I guess I only have Windows PowerShell or whatever. I just use CMD really, just because it's just easy for me to do that. Because really, what do I have to use? I'm using Windows. Come on. If I'm using Linux, then sure, yeah, I'm gonna use whatever Linux is. Okay, let's get back to what I was doing. So today, to-dos, I want to put in the Streamlist what kind of AI I was using for that response. So I want like that to be like, I don't know, in like a little parentheses over here or something like that. I'll have to figure out how Streamlight would allow me to do that. Maybe like an asked with blah blah blah. Maybe tack that onto the message itself. Actually, we can do that right now. Why don't we do that right now? Let me go to my main. So this is where I'm posting stuff. Message.append, role content, user input. All right, so this is the user input right here. And what we want to do is we want to do plus selected model. Actually, I don't know if selected model is text or not. I don't. Here, let me do a really quick. Let me. This is where I'm going to actually try to code for once without using AI. Let's do this, guys. I am a coder. I know how to do stuff. Let's show you guys I know how to do stuff, eh? Hey. Let's do it. Or wait, no, we don't need to do that. We just do this and this. Yeah, Let's try that. Let's try this. Control S. Let's reload our thingamajig. How to make ramen. Yummy. It did not do it. Okay, that didn't work. Also, can't add flags like ls-la to check permissions. Also, to change permission stuff like that. Wait, what? Let me go to CD desktop. Wait, oh, CD. Wait, ls? Oh, yeah, I guess I don't have that. I don't know. I don't need that stuff right now though, so whatever, doesn't matter. Not gonna need it right now. Okay, so it did not register that. Wait. I thought this content right here. User input. Oh, that's where I should be putting it. Whoops. Here. Not here. Actually, I could do both. We'll just do both. Wait. Also, I think, am I breaking this? One second. Oh no, that was just in a bracket. That's why. Okay. Control S. Okay. Stop your communicating. Reload. Hi. How are you, Quinn? Yeah. There we go. Okay, I fixed it. So now we have the thingamajig written right there. Actually, yeah. So now we know what the thingamajig I'm using to make these responses are. Let me backspace. Where is it? Let's backspace that. All right, cool. That's cool. I know, I'm an amateur, huh? Ooh. Yeah. Gosh, you. All right, so yeah, we fixed that. So let's get that to-do offer thing. I just thought that would be a nice little perk to our little thing. Okay, so yeah, we don't need that to do. So I need to understand more about that context and the sizing of models. I need to probably modify this thing a little bit more to do some other stuff. So basically what I was actually thinking about doing when I was first starting this project, when I was thinking about making like a wrapper, I kind of wanted to make a wrapper that can be fed a whole database of stuff, which I'm almost there. Right now I can put PDFs in here and I can scan those PDFs and kind of respond, but that's just because the PDF is part of the context. So this is where I need to probably do more, understand the context. So I need to probably alter this. This is kind of like my steps to building this thing of like, what are the things I need to do? So extract data, content. Oh, actually we should probably do, let's probably do, oh, whoops. Setup of the AI wrapper. Let's actually do that. So if you guys ever want to use my thing, one, install dependencies. I'm gonna have to figure out the dependencies later. I've installed so many things trying to do this because I was trying different Python libraries and stuff like that. So I'll add this later. This is a to-do. Add dependencies and install instructions. I'll have to do that. I have another project that, oops, I'll have to add a thing later to just make it so you guys can have the instructions. I have this cool little Python file that I kind of run to like install things for you, so it just automatically installs. You don't have to do pip install blah 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 or pip install whatever. So I'll just probably add that to the beginning of our main.py, so that way you don't actually have to run this step at all. The main.py will run it for you. Okay, so we'll have to install dependencies. Once you have the dependencies installed, this will probably include stream. So the main thing is Streamlight. So then we have to run part, in order to run parser, the following have to be running. So we need Ollama, your Ollama instance, local instance needs to be running. There you go. And your tokens per seconds is slow because you're running a model as large parameters. Use one of the less parameters. Like I know that. I understand that. That was the whole discussion I was kind of having to whoever was on the chat earlier, just because I'm like, it's kind of fun to experiment because I've been actually now considering about maybe wanting to buy 5080, but before I do that, I kind of want to see if somebody has done a tokens per second checker on it or not. Because like I do have this one. This one's fast. This is 100 per second. How are you? Like it's just that one's this one's a lot faster. You'll see down here. It's just like 100 per second. Yeah. So I understand that. So we need an Ollama instance running. Then you will on command line /IDE run. You're gonna need to run the following to here. Let's close out of our thing. This is what I run, or I'll have to modify this because you guys are gonna have to do it from like whatever it is. This is the Omega AI. So I don't know. People can figure it out. If you want to, if you're gonna be skillful enough to download this, you're gonna understand how to run that. So yeah, you need to have those two running. Once you have those two running, this should work. Also, let me run this so this can pop back up. Also, can try multi-threading. Multi-threading. Like Ollama multi-threading. Like I tell Ollama, I don't know how to configure Ollama to do that quite yet. So right now Ollama is running purely on default settings. I do know it's using my GPU, which is a 3070, but I have no idea how much or how little it is using. I do see it hits my GPU at like 40%, so my GPU is like half being used, but that could just be a AI model optimization, not the GPU itself. So not much I can do there, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so all right, cool. So we got Ollama instance easy running that. Install dependencies. Is there anything other information to be able to run this for other people? I don't think there's any other information that I need to throw in here for people to understand. So these are things that I want to understand. I'll have to have some to-dos of fun things to add. Oh yeah, we want to add history tracking so the AI can understand context better. Or just understand context. Because right now, my AI is completely, every token that's being sent to it is completely separate from each other, so they don't actually see each other and understand the history. So I'll have to do that. Add history. Okay, so we got to extract data contents. That's just like per typing. So I think I've learned that I basically need to check the type of the content that's being filtered through in the context. So that's basically done. / it's a to-do. Add. Oh yeah, let's add better parsing of files on local directory to add to context sent to API. I think that's gonna be a really cool thing to add to this little tool, which we'll probably have to work out one day. I need to do this on a virtual machine because I got a lot of other files on my computer I don't want you guys seeing, or accidentally opening or something like that. So I want to make sure I run this on a virtual machine next time I do a live stream. I'll have to boot up a virtual machine, I guess. Okay, so since your chatbot will reference documentation, so I was actually gonna build this because I kind of wanted to understand a little bit about some maybe doing this for a company. So yeah, I was kind of doing that. All right, process and index the data. Store the extracted content in a searchable format, such as vector databases. Okay, so that's something that I saw that some people said that you should do, is you should store the data that the UI or like the AI looks at through that. That's something I need to work through a little bit more. I don't know how exactly that works at all. Like just like the AI looking at a database specifically, not just text. Because right now I understand how to pass in text as a context. But can I set up Ollama? So that's like a question that I'll have to ask, and I'll probably just ask AI, but can I set up OLLAMA to reference a database, and if so, what database? So that's something I'll have to ask AI, I guess, or some smarter AI. Actually, can this tell me? What kind of database can I use with OLLAMA so it can look at it and pass it through to the AI model? Let's see. Is this thing smart enough to know this information? Might be. Okay, data structure. OLLAMA expects data in structured formats such as JSON or CSVs. The database should have a well-defined schema that matches the expected input format of OLLAMA. The database should allow for efficient querying of data, as OLLAMA will need to retrieve specific records for analysis. Based on these requirements... Okay, that doesn't answer the question though, because it says you can use those databases. Yeah, sure. But that's not the actual answer to the question. The answer to the question was the JSON/CSV. So OLLAMA will only take in anything that's a CSV or JSON, it looks like. According to this answer, at least. When choosing a database, consider the following factors. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask a more smarter AI. I don't think this AI understands it. Yeah, ask AI that's hooked to the internet. Bing AI, tell me, or ChatGPT, tell me. Actually, ChatGPT hooked up to the internet right now? I don't know. I remember like a couple years ago it was. I don't use ChatGPT that much day by day. I use Bing AI just because, or Bing Copilot because it's a lot easier to open and it's free and it's easy. All right, process and index the data, store the extracted data in a searchable format. Okay, so I'm gonna delete that. We kind of had that as one of our to-dos. Integrate an AI model, use an AI model like OpenAI's ChatGPT, or okay, so this is if I wanted to do a token thing or using APIs, but I'm trying to keep it local. Oh yeah, you actually asked why don't I use APIs? I guess using like ChatGPT or Fast API or whatever it's called. It's because if I want to implement this kind of thing at my job or future jobs, there's a lot of issues with security. So if you want to have an AI to assist employees with sensitive data, so it parses sensitive data, you need to have that AI be completely stationed on premise and everything like that. So we can't have this AI, or we can't be using like APIs to like ChatGPT and stuff like that, because that would break a bunch of security stuff. Even though I don't think it's used too much, but it's just something that we can't use, we shouldn't use. So that's why I want to build this locally and learn how to build AIs or use AIs locally. Because if I do something like that at a job, which I probably will, I think my next job I'm gonna set this up on my desktop or whatever, or maybe I'll probably request for I don't know, the funding for a laptop to be able to do stuff like this, and basically feed it all the stuff I have, so I can just be like, hey, oh yeah, I'll check it, don't worry, and I just tab and chat, or like have the AI figure it out for me, or find all the data so it can point me in the right direction. So who knows, I'll do that. Work smarter, not harder, right? Yeah, that's the main thing. All right, build a chat bot interface. Develop a chat bot UI using frameworks like Flask. All right, I already built the chat bot. Chat bot's on the right. We got a chat bot, guys. Woo! High five. Clap, clap. We did it. We're awesome. All right, this is just a fast API of how you can do stuff. Enhance with AI wrappers. Implement AI wrappers. Improves accuracy of response. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all we need to do then. Those are like the to-dos for like making this to where I want it to do, which is actually big to-dos. Like, you know, add better parsing, add history tracking, and the database stuff with OLLAMA. Actually, here, let me pull up my side thing. How do I pass in or set up or pass in a database or series of documents to OLLAMA to be able to use alongside the AI. I'm sorry, I'm on a different screen right now. Model. Let's see if Microsoft has something better for us. So I'm just like right here on Microsoft's like whatever thing. And so I used it earlier to do stuff, so it actually knows a lot of my code that I'm doing right now. So it's like, okay, this is how you can do it using some stuff. So chunking and parsing text directly. Since Ollama processing prompts rather than persistent knowledge, you can extract text from documents and send it in chunks along with your user queries. To pass a database or series of documents to Ollama, you'll need to... Okay, so if everything's right, it looks like we just have to pass it in as context. There's no such thing as actually adding stuff like in the background, like it caching things. I don't think it's going to be the cache stuff. Yeah, because we can, you know, extract stuff from documents using some libraries. We can add document text to query. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Use vector database for... Oh, wait, okay. What's this? If you want persistent document search, use a vector database like blah 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 ChromeDB. Okay. Convert text into embeddings. Use sentence transformers. Oh, I remember transformers, that terminology, except I have no idea what it means. Or OpenAI embeddings to store document chunks. All right. Let me dissect this code a bit. From sentence transformers important. Okay, whatever. Convert document to vector embeddings, aka just train into matrices. It looks like. You're enumerating them. And storing metadata. Okay. So basically it's like trying to set it up to be more digestible by the AI. Oh, wait. Search documents. Find most relevant document chunks using embeddings. Query embedded model encode. Search. Interesting. Wait. So basically, I think what this is telling me to do is that, let's pull up Paint. Basically, you got yourself I'm not a master of Paint like what some people are. Let's say you have, where's like, I'm gonna do brushes. I'm gonna get a big brush. Why is it not working? Is it because it doesn't like me using? All right. So basically, you have your AI model. Then you have Ollama. So then so with this AI model and Ollama, AI model and Ollama, and then you have question or query or question. I don't know. Question. All right, you have your question over here. That you want to base it off of stuff, right? Yeah, you want to base this question off of some stuff before saying to Ollama. So what you do is you put your stuff in a database that has some kind of relevancy. I don't know, there's like a weird relevancy. So grab relevant. So relevant info. and then you send it over to Ollama. That way you're not just grabbing like a gig worth of text and sending it. You're grabbing like just, you know, the mega, like 100 megabytes that you need of a file or of text to Ollama. So you're just grabbing relevant information. So that's what we want to build. We want to build a searchable database, and that might even have an AI on it, right? You might have your own, or you might have it send to Ollama, which sends to I don't. Darn it, I don't understand. I don't understand query, like because you would have to like dynamically query stuff. It's kind of like a spider on the internet, or no, not a spider. What's the other thing? What's the thing that actually? It's like an algorithm. You got to build yourself an algorithm that like it takes a bunch of keywords from your question, and then searches database for things that relate to those words, and then grabs those snippets, maybe like text before and text after, and throws that into the context of your thing. Oof, that sounds messy. Yeah, that sounds really messy if we want to do it that way. Oh, that does not sound fun at all. But hey, I think that might be how we gotta do it. So we need to understand how to make a searchable database with. So we need to make a searchable database with some kind of, what do you call it, process. I don't know, I'm just going to generalize it. Process that can pull relevant info. So that's what we really got to do if you're trying to search like a larger database. Technically, if it's not that much, like, you know, if it's a gig of stuff, maybe it's just worth it to just pass in the gig of stuff. Except for, I don't know how, actually, I got 64 gigs of RAM, right? We're fine. We can just pass in everything. Right? Maybe. Who knows? Huh. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna pull up the mass coders dreaded stuff. Get status. Wait, what the? I'm not in the right repository. Open in File Explorer. Or no, not open File Explorer. Whoops. Or yeah, I could do that either way. Open terminal. There we go. We're gonna. Gosh darn it. Add that. Oh, I need to save this. Oops. All right, and then add a readme status. Git commit. Added or cleaned up readme. All right, there you go. You guys have my readme now, nice and clean. Okay. What to do? What is this? Oh, that's the VS Code's source or code source version sourcing version control. Gosh darn it, my mind is blanking on stuff nowadays. Huh. I've been streaming for like an hour now. I haven't streamed in like literally months to a year almost, it felt like, so I guess this is decent start for us getting back into the swing of things. I got a project. I finished my project. I think this is really cool. I mean, I was able to basically get Ollama to do its thing. Well, cool, fun project, huh? We made a wrapper within how many lines of code? 40, 80, 110 lines of code. 110 lines of code, and you got yourself an AI wrapper. A really crappy one, at least. Very, very basic. Not much more than just literally downloading the AI model itself and just running the AI model and just typing straight into the chat. Does Ollama even have... Wait, I'm gonna try this. Give me a second. I'm gonna quit out of Ollama. right now. We're gonna go Ollama run, or Ollama list, Ollama run. We'll just do this fast one. All right. I like ramen. I kind of wondering if Ollama itself does that. What is my favorite food? We didn't discuss this earlier. You like to talk about? My favorite food is ramen. I love that. We come full circle. I would love us unite again. Wait. What is my favorite food? So this does remember. Yeah, this does remember the context. So Ollama already does this. At least on Ollama's thingamajig. Interesting. How do you remember my conversation? It's a large language model. I don't have personal memories like humans. Instead, I use a technology called context to understand and recall our conversations. When we started talking, I created a context for our conversation, which allowed me to keep track of the topics we discussed, including your love for the ramen. This context is stored in my database for a limited time, but it's not a traditional memory like humans have. Each time you interact with me, I create a new context for our conversation, and I can refer back to previous conversations using that context. However, if you take some time before responding again, the context might be lost and we start fresh. Interesting. Huh. So this is basically just taking... Wait, so this is where I gotta understand the real terminology of context. Because what I've been doing here is so basically I take user input here, I throw it to my AI stream. My AI stream is over here. It takes in my prompt, takes in a full prompt of whatever it is, and serves that up through my URL, which is this generate headers. And it brings back the response time. But no context is made there. Or I'm not getting any context to the API. Or the API is losing context every single time. How do I get it to remember the context? Is that something that's written into Ollama itself as like the main thing I'm using for Ollama? Huh. We're right now on an interesting line of logic, guys. Give me a second. Let's see. Ollama. Do they have they have models? They have a GitHub. What's Ollama written in? Ollama is written in Go. That's the difference. OpenAPI. It's based on OpenAPI. The official Ollama Docker image is available on Docker Hub. So if you want to make a Docker of Ollama so you can run it through Docker rather than the command line of a background process. Customize a model. Ollama supports importing gguf models in the model file. Create a file name blah 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 from instruction with the file local path of the model you want to import. Create the model in Ollama. Create example on the model. Import from safe tensors. This is all stuff I gotta learn. I'm like clueless, but if I want to become an AI developer, I gotta do this, right? Or a fine-tuned adapter from safe tensor weights. Oh gosh, this is just... First create model file from blah blah blah. Okay, this is probably boring for you guys. I'll probably go over this so I can be able to summarize it later, at least what I've learned, and then people can correct me in the comments of my streams and whatnot. Yes. Yes. For multi-live. Multi-module, pass the prompt as an argument. Show model information, list models on your computer. Yeah, I know all that stuff. Build, serve, REST API. Let me look at this. Because this is what I'm using. I'm using this API service to do stuff. So like if you look at my code, I'm using the API generate and the API tags. So you'll find that here, dot API generate. Yeah, see it's a post one. And I'm not using anything else in there. Okay, yeah. An encoding of the conversation used in this response. This can be sent to the next. Hello there, my friends. So that's how we tell it to remember things in our history. We pass it along as a context right there. Wait. Can we do this right now? We might be able to be geniuses and figure out this right now, guys. Are you ready for awesomeness? If we go to Ollama, get available model. So we're doing an API generate. So we're generating that with the prompt. Oh. So we right here need to add context. Add the context to the payload if provided. This is one thing gosh darn, I don't want to do that. Yeah, we want to add context to this. Right there. How would we do that? That basically means we just need to take our message history, which we have here. Yeah. We have the chat state messages. One second, let me, I want to remember st.session_state messages. I want to print that. Or we can store it separately in a different place. Oh, this isn't gonna run because I close out Ollama. Oh wait, no, Ollama's still running. We're good, we're good. Ollama's still running. All right, so the database should allow for efficient database. So this is yeah, that was its response. Huh. Interesting. So and it's storing as a list. Even better. Oh, wait, is it a list or is it a list of dictionaries? Might be a list of dictionaries. I don't know if we need to parse that. Maybe we don't need to parse that. Maybe we don't need to parse it. Let's do this, guys. We're gonna like literally pass this through to AI stream. We're going to go over here. We're gonna do context. Equals none. We'll just have it as nothing. Oh wait, we already have context. 1 second, I got a message. What's going on? What the frick? What's going on here? Oh. Yeah, my wife is just trying to plan dinner right now. Sorry, guys. Well, no, I'm not sorry. Psh. Wife's more important than you guys. Psh. Get out of here. Looks like we're having ravioli. Or some kind of ravioli. Roccini? Ravioli? I don't know. I'm not... Okay. We already have context. Wait. I'm gonna call this files. Yeah, because that's really just files that we link here. And then we'll have context right here. And then what context will be... What context will be right here. Context. Is context. We don't need the other part because none is probably okay response, I'm pretty sure. Add. All right, so I think this might literally be all we need to do. All right, I'm gonna save this and we're gonna rerun. My favorite food is ramen. Oh, break. Key response. In Ollama API. Line 36. Wait. That wasn't breaking earlier, right? Did we break something? We just haven't saved it in a bit. Key error response? Wait, payload. Saying the payload. Am I doing this right? Why is this? Why did it break? So now it's not giving us back our data. My favorite food is ramen. Ramane. Ramen. What is going on here? Error JSON cannot unmarshal object into Go struct field generate request.context of type int. Of type int? Interesting. Wait, is it okay with null values? Because then we might just put none right here. Or wait, no, that is content. Where do we pass in the context of stuff? Let me put this here. Type pass in none. Rerun. I love ramen. It's my favorite. Man, I'm getting hungry, guys. Favorite. Oh, I can't type today. Okay. I love ramen. It's my favorite. A delicious topic. Ramen's a delicious topic, apparently. Oh, that's a little bit too much data, to be honest, in my here, let me do something really quick. Response, let's get rid of this and put it like somewhere else or something. Let's print. I just want to print the response. This autocomplete is I don't know, if I get used to it, it's gonna be amazing, but if I don't get used to it, it's gonna be kind of annoying. Also, I might try to throw this at the end. I have this all right here, but we don't need to really print this out every freaking time. We do need to print the token count, but we can, I think we can do this at the end, like right here instead. That way we're not like going crazy on our logging of stuff. Let's try that and say, do you like ramen? Question mark. Yeah, there we go. A lot better. Process tokens 100 something per second. Did it process it twice? I don't care enough to look through that. I don't have personal presence taste, but I can provide information recipe about ramen if you're interested. Do you like ramen? All right, I think we're good. I don't know. I'm kind of beat for this live stream. We've gone on for about 1 hour and 15 minutes, so hopefully this might be educational to somebody at some point or doing whatever stuff. So yeah. Let's push my stuff up and call it good, right? You guys good with that? Cleaned up logging. I think that's basically what we really just have done. All right. Well, if you guys want to go check out that repository, go ahead and check it out. It's in our chat thing over to the right. I'm pretty sure it's searchable. Or not searchable, but you can find it pretty easily. There's not too many chats going on. But other than that, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, guys. Maybe we'll see you next time as I try to come up with a new thing. Basically what I gotta do, I gotta develop a bunch of stuff and then come on a live stream with all that stuff developed, go over a summary of it, and then develop maybe like one little thing. And yeah, good live stream format, right? Yeah, that's like a good live stream format.